Namah Shivaya. Gangadaranga Ramaniya Jatakalabam Gauri Nirandara Vibhu Shidavama Bhagam Narayana Priyamanankamatapaharam Varanasim Purapatim Bhaja Visvanatham Sambho Bhaja Vishwanatham. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's subject is very beautiful, profound subject. Start living is the title. You may ask, then what are we doing? Let's understand what Shiva says about life. Then we will understand whether we are living or not, or how we are supposed to live, and what is life, how to start living. All these questions can be analyzed and understood. Let's enter into the today's sutra, today's aphorism, what Shiva wants to tell us today. Then we will enter into the commentary, we will understand the meaning. The today's sutra, eyes closed, see your inner being in detail, thus see your true nature. Sutra looks very simple. Just by this one sutra, Shiva is solving an important major problems of spiritual seekers. From the time immemorial, anybody who enters into the spiritual life, they have a big problem. They always carry a question that should I marry or should I become a sannyasi, celibate? This question is time immemorial. Again and again, almost all the seekers face this question in their mind. Should I renounce everything or should I live married life? All unmarried people feel that they are missing some part of life. All married people feel that we could have become a Swami. Every married man at least once contemplates of running away, feels guilt about the decision he made. At least few times he repents. Same way, unmarried person also tries to review his decision or tries to analyze whether I have done a right decision, whether I made proper decision. This age-old problem. No master is able to give straight solution. If you go to Buddha, he will say, no, don't get married. If you go to Mahavira, he will say, don't even think about it. Forget about getting. Don't even think about it. If you go to any Vedic Rishi, they will say, you can marry once, nothing wrong. One wife is okay. Very difficult to understand. Each master coming up with his own solution, his own answers. Then there are some more intelligent masters who create different groups. For all married people, one group. For all unmarried people, another one group. They don't want to take the risk of giving you suggestion or decision. They leave the decision to you, so that responsibility is also with you. They know both the way you will suffer. Whatever decision you make, suffering is inevitable. They don't want to get into the mess. They do not want to take the responsibility for your suffering. They just leave the freedom to you. Be very clear, when freedom is yours, responsibility is also yours. They give it to you. After you decide, they put you in different class. It's an age-old problem. To tell you honestly, to create our whole movement, our structure of our whole mission, I did lot of research and development, studying all the earlier movements, why they raised and why they fell, the rise and fall of many spiritual empires. I took 3 years just for this research. After enlightenment, 2000 till 2003 I started the movement, came out to the public. That 3 years, the one and only thing which I did is doing solid research for modern man. What can be the solution? What is the best way? What is the best thing we can offer? Because this is the subject almost every master analyzed. Whenever you talk to the master personally, when you trust him and when he trusts you. Please understand, if master doesn't trust you, he will never take your responsibility. He will never give you straight instruction. He will just encourage your own ideas and he will say, all right, do as you want. He will just slip away. He will not give you the clear instruction of what to do and what not to do, because he doesn't want to get involved. There are few mental setup. Whatever decision or guidance you give, they will pick up only what they like. They will try to practice that. Finally, they will blame you for not having the result, because actually they do not understand, they have not taken the whole message. They will take only one part which they like and they will try to practice. Naturally, the one part will not bring the desired result. They will blame the master. Oh, I followed him, this is what happened. So naturally, when masters doesn't trust you that you will follow them completely with full heart, they do not guide you. They just encourage your own ego and leave it. They just keep quiet. Only when they trust you and you trust them, then the proper instruction is transmitted. Then it is always successful. But when the disciple who became successful, if he records all the instructions received from master and publishes it for next generation, people who read that book and try to practice always failure. Understand, I am talking very intricate, important things for any spiritual seeker. If you are not a seeker, if you have not done little work on the conscious level already, you will not be able to relate with what I am saying, because I am not speaking for a common man. The truths which I am speaking now, this is not for a common person who just makes little money, goes for a job, comes back and sleeps. He finds little time. Instead of going to beach, he may go to some programs like this. I am not speaking to that kind of common man for whom spirituality is option. I am speaking, if you felt spirituality is a compulsion in your life, if you already did some work in the seeking, means studying on your own or under some master, practicing some meditation on your own or under some master, then you will understand what I am speaking. Beautiful story. It happened in Vivekananda's life. Vivekananda is one of the great master produced by India. I think first master who is successful bringing the Eastern wisdom to West. Successful predecessor, I can say. It is just because of his success, so many of us are trying to share our wisdom with the world. All we need to understand is few things. Let me tell a story from his life. One day he was sitting in the banks of Ganges river. A disciple was pressing his feet, massaging his feet. One elderly man came, who is well-read, intellectual, Pandit. This Pandit came and he started talking about himself. He goes to Vivekananda and says, "Oh, I take every day Ganga Snan, I do Sandhya Vandan," means the morning and evening worship every day for last 46 years. I have not missed single day my morning and evening rituals. Ganga is the greatest, holiest river. He went on, started talking, whatever he read from here and there in some of these books. It is not even the greatness of Ganga. All he wants to say is that he is great. Because last 46 years he is doing that continuously. Then Vivekananda saw, after a few minutes he was fed up. He wants to somehow teach a lesson to this guy. Vivekananda asked, if you say just by taking bath in Ganga, you will go to heaven, then the fishes in the Ganga are the most holiest creatures. They will be reaching heaven much ahead of you. They will all be in the heaven for more time than you. Fishes in the Ganges are the great saints. This Pandit understood something. At least he understood that Vivekananda is not ready to acknowledge his ideas. This guy just went away. Vivekananda told him, try to put your energy more on transformation, not on just these rituals. Try to transform you. Go beyond the ego. Do not be caught just by these rituals. Anyhow, the Pandit went away. After half an hour, next guy came. This guy is a young man, half-baked, maybe a graduate. This guy came and he started talking. Swamiji, I am very happy to see you. Hi. That's the way they start relating. I am very happy to see you. I heard that you are a revolutionary master. You don't accept these old traditions like old nonsense like taking bath in Ganges and doing everyday rituals. I am so happy. At least we have some modern master. He went on, started talking, disrespecting all the traditions. Vivekananda again stopped him and said, stop. Don't talk anything more. Who said, I discourage taking bath in Ganga and doing rituals? I myself sprinkle the Ganga water every day on my head. I myself sit in the bank of Ganga and meditate. Who said? Stop talking. Every day take bath in Ganges and do meditation. Go. The young fellow got the shock. Anyhow, he also went away. Now the disciple was sitting and pressing the feet. He is in confusion. He asked, Master, what is this? For one person you said, nothing can be achieved by taking bath in Ganges. Within half an hour, to the next person you said, no, you should take bath in Ganges and meditate. What do you mean by it? I am completely confused. Vivekananda says beautifully, that instruction is for that person, this instruction is for this person, for you, press my feet. That's all. Understand, instructions are given according to the maturity of individual. The individual's maturity, his trust over the master, or the master's trust on him that he will be able to practice. All these things plays a major role on any spiritual instruction. That is why the instruction given to Vivekananda by Ramakrishna may not suit me. The instruction given to some disciples of Raman Maharishi personally may not suit me. The personal instructions are not to be followed, cannot be taken as a technology to reproduce the same experience.